I'm boycotting all Asian businesses. And I said it with my blood clot chest.
A black woman who's really been making waves on social media lately. She's calling on the black community to basically...
You think it's just an accident that black businesses disappeared?
Now, she argues that Asian communities got a leg up from the British establishment. Like, historically, they had it easier getting mortgages, starting businesses, and just weren't targeted as much as black communities who faced, higher stop and search rates and more barriers to building wealth. So she's saying, let's redirect our money to black-owned businesses. And she's getting quite a bit of support from folks who feel like, finally, we're doing something to empower our own community, the black community. But here's the other side. She's also facing a ton of backlash. A lot of people are calling this out as basically racism in reverse. They're saying, look, you can't boycott businesses based on the owner's skin color. That's just not how a modern, fair society works. Critics are pointing out that Asian communities face plenty of hardship too. They dealt with racism, Islamophobia, and they often succeeded because of really hard work, long hours, and strong family network. And people are really worried that this kind of rhetoric's just going to divide communities that have lived side by side for ages. So that's the situation in a nutshell. It's a big, messy debate with strong feelings on all sides.
So apparently the word around town is, or at least the word online, is that Asian businesses are feeling the sting of the black boycott. There's been a lot of Asians that came out, Asian content creators, that came out and made their videos expressing their 2 cents, saying that they don't know why black people are lumping all Asians in together in regards to one man, Rick Chow, unaliving a 14-year-old kid in South Carolina. They're expressing the sentiment that all Asians aren't a monolith. They're not all alike, and that it was just one guy, not every Asian. And there's different types of Asians. Rick Chow was Chinese, there's Vietnamese, there's Japanese, there's Korean. And I absolutely do agree, not all Asians are a monolith, nor are black people. We're not all criminals, we don't all shoplift, we're not all killers. We don't all gangbang, all of us don't have a criminal record. You see, black people are not a monolith either. And we all need to respect each other and to be open and honest with each other about these type of things. That's why we're having this boycott. That's why some black people are deciding to not engage with Asian-owned businesses. And it's not just one man, it's a history of being followed in grocery stores. It happened so much that they made fun of it in movies. The hurry up and buy. And of course, there are a lot of Asian businesses inside of the black communities, inside the low-income communities. And oftentimes customers aren't exactly treated with the utmost respect. Now, given customers that go inside these establishments also need to be respectful, but we all need to understand that we're not a monolith. There are good and there are bad in every single group. So instead of expressing your 2 cents of disapproval and hurt and confusion that a whole group of people would target your group of people off the actions of one man, like you say, instead of doing that, try to understand where we're coming from. Try to understand that we're trying to build our community up. We're trying to keep our dollars within our community to build generational wealth so that one day we may have gas stations and liquor stores and grocery stores. So try to understand and just try to respect what we're trying to accomplish here. And if you really are not racist, then talk to your racist friends and family members. Don't be not racist, be anti-racist when no one is looking. That will go a long way to help the divide between our two communities.
We have not been shopping with them about a month. And they're very upset. So they went to some lawmakers and asked that they're going to pass a bill called the 2.0, where they said it's racist for us not to shop with them. So 512 establishments that are Asian closed down. So, and I can tell you right now, y'all keep going, because if we do it for another 2 months, they'll all be closed down.
Y'all, when I tell y'all these Asian beauty supply stores are doing anything to get us back into their beauty supply stores. I was scrolling on Instagram last night and I ran across this video right here.
Revol's curly hair in deep wave and in Burmese, 10-inch $3.50, 12-inch $5, 14-inch $8, 16-inch $10, and 18-inch $12. 10-inch $5, 12-inch $9, 14-inch $14, 16-inch $16, 18-inch $20, 20 inches $25, 22-inch $30, 26-inch $45, 28-inch $52.
They're having major sales to get people in. Kiss hooded dryers for 99 cents. We get over here, and I said something tell me this is an Asian owned beauty supply, because the marketing is nothing but black people in the video. So I'm like, okay, we're in Atlanta, this definitely could be a black owned beauty supply. We walk in the store it's a lot of Indian workers. We get through one of the aisles, it's an Asian man doing inventory because she want to get her a 99-cent hooded dryer. I was like, well, wait a minute. If you got to spend $25 to get a hooded dryer, then how much is a hooded dryer? You can just go on Amazon or somewhere else and buy a hooded dryer for probably close to that same price. But yeah, they doing any and everything to get y'all in their stores for these sales. It ain't worth it for me. I'm not buying anything. They're not getting my money, period. So y'all don't fall for the okie doke. I done came here. I've confirmed these stores, the Beauty Exchange is owned by Asians. It is not a black-owned beauty supply store. Don't get fooled by the marketing, the ads that y'all seeing with black people doing the advertisement of the sales. Even all the employees damn near at the registers as you walk through it are black. You got a lot of Indian like men that are in there, but then you got a lot of black women employees that are also in there. And when I tell y'all this damn beauty supply is packed, this beauty supply is packed right now. Don't get fooled. Do not fall for the okie doke. This place is Asian owned.
That's fresh. That's new. And I can't help but wonder if had they not went so brazen and got so nasty in their videos towards us specifically, would we have stood tall on this? Or just went back to regular scheduled programming like we normally do when it's usually these fake outrages. But this time it was a real one. See, you guys turned it into it needing to be a boycott when you expressed how bad you really hated us. When you went online and told us exactly how you felt about us, even though we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with you guys' business. See, we simply said, hey, you guys, talking to our own, let's just go ahead and come together and open up our own businesses where they actually respect us. And then the other community heard we're boycotting the businesses. That's not what it was. Although there isn't a specific number about how much Koreans actually own in the U.S. when it comes to beauty supply, news reports suggest that it's about 70% in the United States, and that attributes for most of the black hair care market. It is also tech. But here's the thing. Just think about a table with 4 legs. If one leg is wobbly, the whole table is not stable. And Korea is seeing that happen in live time. See, these are the Korean tech companies that attribute for most of Korea's economy and how they make their money. But here's the thing that everybody's been talking about, but they're talking about it on lower levels, not necessarily higher levels where you can understand where it might affect big businesses. AI is taking over, sweeping across the world and taking human jobs, but replacing technology as we see it. So again, back to that wobbly leg on the table that I was speaking about. If we have Korea and the table is Korea's economy, South Korea that is, and let's say beauty supply and hair is one leg and another leg is the tech. Just because tech is failing is not necessarily going to make the whole table fall because it's on a foundation of 3 other legs, right? So it's just wobbly. But what happens when the other leg can't compensate? The whole table falls. Now see, Amora Pacific and LG Health and Household is responsible for South Korea's beauty industry economy, okay? See, the South Korean stock market, called the KOSPI, saw one of their largest stock market drops in history. The one right before that was June 8th, where it dropped 8%. So it just made me go digging a little bit deeper into the dates because analytics works a certain way. Everything has a cause and effect. Mind you, the Chow verdict came in June 1st. So subsequently after June 8th, we see the stock market start to plummet, and then it takes its second largest plummet on June 23rd. That's not by accident. That is by design. And of course, the news is going to blame the rise in AI and it taking over technology for South Korea's stock market plummeting. And they're not going to validate the second half of their economy, and that in the U.S., which they solely base most of their money off of, and the beauty industry here, is failing and having issues because of the social and political climate. Of course, they're not going to give Black Americans credit for anything, because if they were to publicize that, if they were to put it on the news that this is happening and this is why, it would wake more Black Americans up to realize that we have more power in our dollar. We just need to see that. And once we do, and we start intentionally spending our money with Black businesses, we're going to see a lot more changes. What I take from this is just excitement. I'm excited that for once, it seems as though Black Americans are getting it. They're getting the picture. It's been something that's been put in our faces since the beginning of time. We've only ever been told to be consumers. That's where everybody was comfortable with us being at, and they never wanted to see us ascend to anything other than a consumer. So, being a business owner, that threatens their livelihood because they base their whole makeup, their whole business model off of the black dollar. So with that, y'all, it looks like we're resetting exactly how people feel about us. It's respect. We're resetting the respect level because all you can do is respect it, especially when your bills are not getting paid.
In the first place, Asians hating black people and thinking that white people are their best buddies seems so manufactured.
The Asian boycott thing ain't happening in Houston, Texas. And I'm particularly talking about Houston, Texas because I live in Houston. I be paying attention. The nail shop's still full. People still got lines at Timmy Chan's. And I think that's because in Houston, we have a kind of intertwined community here when it comes to Blacks Nation. I'm not saying by any means that people get along all the time or people don't have their prejudices. When was the last time you went to Timmy Chan's and there wasn't a black person taking your order? I've seen Asian people riding slabs. I've seen Asian people talk with that Houston twang. Asian people sell grills. I mean, it's kind of an intertwined community when you really think about it in its totality. And I just don't think it would happen here. Some people ride this internet thing and this social media thing, think that when one person comes out with the idea that the entire community is just supposed to jump on that bandwagon and keep it going. But what people don't understand is, depending on where you live, your problems might not be my problems. So out of solidarity, I'm just supposed to make my problems. I don't think it works like that.
You know, it's really disheartening when you see the older generation move like this. It's always the older generation. This dude is too old to be saying the stuff that he's saying. Not only that, I'm going to be the first to say he do not speak for the city of Houston, Texas. I'm born and raised in Houston, and I do not agree with this 100%. This man got on the internet and said that the Asians and the blacks are intertwined because it's mostly black people that work at Timmy Chan's. You think we give a damn about some slabs when we talking about the protection of black people? Then you said what's one person problem ain't your problem. Bro, up top, all of y'all that get on the internet and talk like this, bro, and go against your own people, it's literally a sickness.
I don't know where you got your information from.
So we're here at King's Beauty, baby, and guess what? Wasn't nobody in the parking lot. I do see a few like elderly going in or whatever like that, but nobody in the parking lot. And typically this mug, King's Beauty, over here on for 38th and Post Road, packed. I'm proud of you.
In all honesty, I'd say that the most positive thing about the so-called Asian boycotts is that so-called black folks have started treating each other a whole lot better. I, for one, have noticed it, and that spells trouble for you so-called white folks.